That reminds me, let me turn that ringer off. You want to give it a minute or should we get started?
I guess we can get started. A couple people in here.
Okay. All right. I don't care if you've put makeup on or not. It makes me happy if you turn your cameras on.
Agreed.
It feels less like I'm teaching to a vacant, empty hole. Thank you, India. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. You guys are getting puppy eyes today. I'm sorry, my dog passed this morning, so I'm like out
Oh,
of it.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. That's terrible.
It is.
Thank you.
Still trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have an excuse if you need to turn your camera off for a minute.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to talk for just a minute about some strategy behind running Facebook ads. And then Kevin is going to walk us through doing it through command. Okay. I have been running Facebook ads long before command even was an idea. Well, I'm sure it was an idea, but before we had command to run ads through. And I will say, having run a lot of ads and also being the Market Center tech trainer, where I get to network and talk to a lot of tech trainers all over the country and see some of the results, Keller Williams has forged an amazing relationship with Facebook. And we have thousands and thousands of agents running ads through one big Keller Williams account. And what's cool about that is we get the benefit of a major corporate advertiser. So when you see the cost per lead that you're getting through running an ad through command, I can't match it running it through Facebook directly, because I'm just little old Carrie, not spending a ton of money. But as a huge Keller Williams account, we're spending tons of money, and Facebook likes it and gives us preference and places our ads higher up. And so there's a huge benefit in that way to get your cost per lead really low by running through command. The other benefit is they've streamlined the dashboard to create an ad, as you'll see when Kevin shows you in a few minutes. If you log into Facebook Ad Center and try to run an ad, there's so many options. It's really best left to a marketing firm to figure out exactly what you want to do with all of the options that they give you in Facebook Ads Manager. Keller Williams has gone in and created an ads manager in campaigns that's really tailored just to us, less options, really easy to navigate. You'll see in a few minutes. So you don't have to be a tech or marketing guru to be able to run awesome ads. So there's a couple reasons to run ads. One is lead generation. So we're supposed to be feeding our database every day, right? One way to do that is to go out and make new friends, network, add people that you meet just in general living. Another way is to generate leads. So every once in a while, you're going to get a lead from a Facebook ad that is a real true today buyer that you're going to get to talk to and make an appointment with, right? For the most part, and this is setting your expectations for Facebook lead gen, most of these people are way early in their shopping career. They aren't even on Zillow yet. They are literally scrolling their personal Facebook and they see your picture of a pretty house or your call to action about a list of houses or some of the things that we're going to talk about, and they click on it. And you gather their contact information, and then you have a big job to do. You've got to nurture them sometimes for up to 18 months before they're an actual ready to buy buyer. So I think of it as adding people to my database, right? What is it called? Create a database, feed it every day, communicate to it in a systematic way, service any leads that come your way. There's like a little poem, right? About database. So this is the feed it every day step. It can be part of your lead gen, just to add people to your database that you're then going to send campaign emails. You may text every once in a while, hey, how's it going? Depending on what information you capture, you're going to communicate to them in a systematic way until they convert, right? So feeding your database, capturing lead contact information. The other potential goal of Facebook ads is brand awareness. So you may run an ad in your local community, a very small geography, or even in front of your sphere of influence that just, you're not asking for registration. You're not asking them to sign up to do anything. It's either an ad that showcases a recent review, or maybe it's an ad that showcases your app and how cool it is to use. And all you're trying to do is get it in front of people and not lead capture. So we've done this for open houses. We don't necessarily capture the lead information. We just want as many people to come to the open house and be interested in the open house. Or alternatively, you may decide you want to run an ad about an open house and you want to capture those leads and you want to make it an invite only open house. So your strategy is your strategy, and you've got to lay that out. Like, what's my goal with this ad? Is my goal to capture lead contact information, or is my goal just to get my message out there? You might write an amazing blog post about how to win multiple offers in a crazy market. And that's valuable industry insight that you have and only you have. And that's valuable information. And you have a choice. You can either charge for giving away that valuable information by saying, you can have this list that is valuable, and I know it's valuable, but you have to give me your email first. So that would be lead generation. Or you may decide, I just want to show off to my sphere how smart I am and how much I know about the market. You might put that content out there for free and just run an ad with a link directly to that information unlocked so that people can click on it, read your article, and know that you're an expert. Okay. So you guys get kind of the different strategies that you might.
It's long term. That's what I understand out of it.
Long term. Yep. Yeah. So what I always tell people is these leads are a wife sitting on a couch watching Netflix with her husband, and she's scrolling through looking at pictures of all of her friends, and all of a sudden there's a house that's an upgrade from her house. And she's like, oh, I don't, this house is really too small. I wish we had a playroom. And she clicks on it. And then what's cool is Facebook, I'm sure you guys have clicked on Facebook ads or something. And Facebook has written it so that with one click, you can sign up with your Facebook credentials. So they're not having to type in their email address. They're not having to type in their phone number. It's auto-populating for them. So it's really easy for them to say, yes, I want this info with one click. And then what happens next is up to you. You can point them to a landing page. You can point them to one of your listings. You can point them actually to any URL you want to, right? So that would be part of the design of your strategy as well, is what do you want them to get once they sign up, right?
Could you also do a lead form through command?
Sure, absolutely. Now, yeah, so you could run the ad that does not have a Facebook native sign-in and point them to a command lead form. So you could design a lead form that captures their information, and maybe it's to sign up to come to your July 4th client event. If you're doing some client event that you want strangers to come to. Maybe you're doing it in the neighborhood, right? I'm doing the Brookfield Country Club 4th of July extravaganza. I may run an ad to a very small geography, half a mile around the club, okay? And I might have a KW landing page that says sign up RSVP to my event. And that way neighbors could sign in to come to my 4th of July extravaganza. That would be a great use for that. Absolutely. Same thing with signing up to come to an open house. That might be, you might want to use the KW landing page. And hopefully with the landing pages soon, we'll get a little more customization on what information we can gather with them. Right now, it's just name, email, phone number, and I think notes or something like that, which is fine. But for some purposes, you might want to gather address or how many kids are you bringing to the party, or, there might be some other things that we might want to customize. But for right now, it's pretty limited, or not limited. It's just one option. So, yeah, that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have questions about? Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to maybe make it like Google form and embed it in
Totally.
or something.
You bet. Yeah, you could make a Google form and then you could point your ad to that Google form, which Kevin will show you exactly where you put that URL to wherever. You could make an Eventbrite.
Yeah.
You could, what else could you do? There's a lot of things you could do with it. It's pretty flexible. I would also like for our landing pages to do an auto reply, which I'm sure we'll be able to do with SmartPlan auto triggers pretty soon. When you do a landing page and you sign in on it, Kevin, can you make it auto tag when that lead comes in?
I just saw the other day on one of the command pages that feature, I don't know if it's out yet, but it's like pretty much done. And I think some people were kind of beta testing it, but basically you'll be able to auto tag and auto put them on a SmartPlan.
Because right now you can automatically launch a SmartPlan when a tag is applied.
Right.
But you still have to manually apply that tag.
Right.
So the next step is I want every lead that comes in from this source to automatically be tagged with this, which would automatically tag this, launch the SmartPlan.
Yeah.
Which the SmartPlan could just be automatically email this lead my PDF tips.
Yeah.
Right. So then you've got an actual funnel that they're getting their item of value without you having to say, oh, I got this new lead. I better send the.
If we can.
When you sign up to get a PDF report of the blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
You expect that to come immediately, right? If you're a lead.
Can we, do you know if we can put PDFs in SmartPlans now? Like in emails? No. No, but you could make an image out of it and insert the image. Yeah, true.
You could do that. So Kevin, why don't you dive into screen share and let's see how we actually make this happen step by step.
Let's see. So first step that I always dive into, once you log into Command at the top right corner, when you click on your name, that's going to pull up this little menu where you can go into your settings. Because before you actually run the ads, you have to connect your social media accounts. So I already have it connected, so they're going to be up top. I think if you don't have them connected, you might have to scroll down a bit, and it will probably be under social. But what you're going to do is you're going to see the Facebook Ads Manager, and then you're just going to click on Connect Account, and it should bring you, I think, right to Facebook where you log in. And on that note, in case anyone hasn't run a Facebook ad, you can't run it from your personal page. You have to create an actual business page first, which if you don't have that already, you can go to our training channel, quantrain.com. It's on YouTube. And I think Jennifer Ray had done a class a while back on creating your Facebook business page. So that would be first step. And then once you have it created, you go in here and you connect it. And then I guess since Facebook owns Instagram, it's pretty much the same login on both spots. So you don't have to connect your Instagram account manually. And then there's
And
also
there's two Facebooks to connect to. There's the Facebook post scheduling and Facebook ads manager.
Yeah. So for both of those, you do have to have a business page. You can't schedule posts to your regular page, although obviously you can post on your regular page, real estate stuff. But through Command, it's all for your business page. And then there's also Twitter down here. You can run ads on Twitter, which I've never actually done before. I don't even have a Twitter account, but I guess if that's a source of business for you, it could be a good option.
So one is for posting just regular post, like making just a post on the page, and the other is for actually running ads.
Yes,
Right.
and for the regular posting, right now all we have is Facebook. You can't do it on like Instagram or Twitter, but
Gotcha.
it'll come at some point to where we can do one post to all the different platforms.
Post. Okay.
But you can schedule your posts for the week, and that allows you to kind of batch your or month or however long you can batch your work and say,
Right,
I'm
I
going to
did.
post it next Wednesday. And yeah,
I love that feature.
Yeah,
yeah.
we talked about that a bit in our happy hour last week.
Yeah.
Good question.
Mhm.
When somebody fills out a lead form, they give you your name, number, and an email address. That goes automatically to your contacts database. You don't have to enter anything in.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, and
That
I'll
makes
show
it
you where
easier.
those show up too once we get to
Okay.
that point. Because it kind of like, it doesn't tag them, but it kind of gives them a source, which is like Facebook ad source, something like that. Kelly Campaigns or.
Mhm.
So it makes it easy to pull up all your leads in one spot.
Mm.
All right, so our account is linked in our settings. Next step is I go to designs. Now, you don't have to go to designs if you just have like a picture you want to use for the picture of the ad, that works too. Or you could create it on, any of the sites you use, Canva, or there's a whole bunch of sites where you can kind of customize pictures. But since this is a command class, we're going to do it all in command. So you go down here to designs, and then at the bottom right corner, you hit the blue plus sign. And that's going to pull up which type of design you want to create. So for this one, we're going to go to social, and then we're going to click next at the bottom. So before you hop into here, like Carrie was talking about with your ad strategy, this is where when you go in here, you'll know, what kind of picture do you want to create? Are you advertising a listing? Like it pulls it up. I guess it went right to open house for me because I must have been in there. But under listings, if you have one that just hit the market, you could do one of these just listed designs. And you can do either wide or square for the size. Personally, I always love using the square just because it kind of works well across different platforms.
I think Square, yeah, shows the best and in mobile feeds too.
And plus you have the option, which we'll get into once we're designing it, but you can do multiple pictures, like one of those little scrolling ads. And I found that if you do the wide picture, it like automatically cuts them off. So squares are kind of the best for regardless of what kind of ad you run. So we have just listed. You could do an open house. We have, maybe you want to find some buyers. So you could do one of these, like a Keller Mortgage ad. And some of these just look good, even if you're not sending them to Keller Mortgage. It's just kind of a generic buyer ad. You could do like a neighborhood snapshot and kind of target a specific, part of town. So you can kind of give them an idea of like how many homes are available and what the average price points are. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different options. I mean, like we are talking about before, it all depends on your strategy. I'll show you just an example of one that let me go back. Oh, my designs here. I created this one just before this class, just kind of threw it together. I like it because there's more than just the one picture in there. It's not like they're just seeing the front of the house. They kind of get an idea of what's the inside, and there's a pool in the community.
I think that circle is eye-catching too.
Yeah.
You got to think about stopping the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to catch people's eyes, and then what's going to make them click? If you're lead generating, the strategy we use most often is to put the prettiest pictures and then no price, no location.
Mm-hmm.
So then they have to click to get all the details.
Agreed. All right, so the way I do it is I just download, once I have the design created, I just download the picture. I'll show you once we get to it. There's also a way where you don't have to download it. It can pull it right from designs. But I found that if you just create it and then you try to run the ad, I think there's kind of like a buffer time to where the design has to fully save before it lets you pull it in. So the easiest way I do it is I just go up to the top and download it. And you'll see the JPEG says ideal for web and images. Personally, I've used JPEGs and PNGs. I can never really tell a difference, but I'm sure there's some techie reason why JPEGs are better. Change quality.
JPEGs are typically like a transparent background. It's typically what it is. So if you had a, outline or something like that, it's typically just a transparent background. Gotcha. Whereas PNG is not. It's like typically white. Yeah. Nothing serious.
Like I've done PNGs that are transparent too.
Uh-huh.
I think you can actually do that in here. You can check it as transparent.
Uh-huh.
But either way, you'll see there it's ideal for HQ images, so high quality. So maybe that'd be better. But either way, I always put the quality to high when I do JPEG, and then I just start download, and it's gonna pop up at the bottom for me, or it'll go into your computer downloads, wherever it goes. Give it a second to pop up before I X out of here. There we go. So now we're going to hop back into command, and we're actually going to go design the ad. So that's going to be under campaigns on the left side. Click on campaigns. And the campaigns tag or tab, not only is it where you do Facebook ads, but it's where you can do email campaigns like blast emails. You can send postcards, and it's also where you can go and schedule your Facebook posts like we were talking about earlier. And we have classes on all those. So this is definitely a good tab of command to, like Kara was saying, grow your database, market to people, get your name out there. So this is the home page of campaigns, and you'll see there's a few different options on here that it's kind of like an overview of this entire tab of command. So like your performance at the top left, it defaults to show you the past month, and I actually haven't ran any ads in the past month, so it doesn't show up. But if we go to past 12 months, it should populate. It'll kind of show you what you've spent. So we have like what I spent on Facebook ads, what I spent on Instagram ads, and then the @ symbol is what you've sent on direct mail, like postcards. And then you can also kind of break it down into the different categories down here. Like when you go to engagement, you'll be able to see how many people have liked and commented on your posts. And then down here at the bottom, it's going to show you which of your campaigns are performing the best based on, most lead, lowest cost per lead, and also the most engagement, which engagements like comments, likes, that kind of stuff. So for that one, if I go to past 12 months, it's going to show me. It looks like this one ad just did better than most. So 19 leads. It only ran for the 11/13 to 11/18, so 5 days.
That's awesome.
19 leads at $1.32 cost per lead, and then 6 reactions. So nothing crazy, but a couple people liked it. It always shows up for me, so I'm always one of those likes.
Right.
And then your lead to goal. This one I find is a little outrageous at times, but basically when you go into your reporting, once you set like goals for the year, you'll put how many closings you want to have and your different, percentages for getting them through your pipeline. So then it's going to throw this big number out there for how many leads you need to get. So I guess it's a good one. If you're running a lot of Facebook ads, I'm sure it's manageable to hit those. But for me, it's usually like under 10% throughout the year. All right, so first I'll show you the overview of the paid ads page. So you just click on paid ads at the top, and then we'll get into actually creating it. So when you're on this page, it's going to show you which ads you've ran in the past and how they performed. And then also like if you have one that's pending or currently running, it's also going to show you how it's performing at kind of in real time. I don't know how quick it updates, but it's pretty fast. So to kind of go back to the different types of ads that we can run, this first one at the top here, like Carrie said, you can do a lead gen ad where you're actually trying to capture lead, or you can do kind of more of a brand awareness ad. So this one was a listing, so I could have done a lead gen ad, but instead I just did one where it sent them right to my website to see all the information. They didn't actually have to fill out a form on Facebook. And you'll see as I scroll down here, like this one was put in front of 27,000 people in, a couple days, but I didn't get any leads. So it's a cheaper way to get it out to more people, because when you're running a lead ad, like down here, you'll see there's much less impressions for the amount of money spent, because people are more likely to click on it and see that they have to fill out a form and then decide I'm not going to do that. And then Facebook's like, oh, people don't like this ad. So it's going to cost more if you're trying to capture lead information. So it all depends on what your goal is. Are you trying to pay for leads, or are you just trying to get your name out there where you can get a lot more for your money? So I find it's good to kind of do a mix of the two. Obviously you want to build your database, but at the same time, it's a cheap way to just get your name out there if you're just trying to do a brand awareness kind of ad.
Part of that, we see you everywhere marketing, right? It's the cheapest billboard you can buy.
Yeah, exactly. So at the top of the page here, I don't have any ads currently running, but if you do, it's going to pull up your leads right here. So it might say that you have like 5 leads, and then you can click on view leads, and it's going to bring you to your contacts to where, like I was talking about, that source is. So it'll show you all your leads that had just come in. I think you can also change it to year-to-date, lifetime. Yeah. And then there's some, tabs at the top, so you can filter it by if you, want to see your actives, your drafts, your past ones, all that stuff. And then you can sort it by the different goals that you use, which we'll get into when we create it. But you kind of choose, what are you doing? Why are you running the ad? Are you advertising the listing? Are you trying to get buyers? And then you can also sort by which channel you run them on. So to actually go to create the ad, we're just going to go to the top right corner to create campaign. This blue button here. And then we're going to have our different options. So social ad is what we're going to be doing today. We didn't talk about it, but you can also connect your Google business account and run like paid Google AdWords campaigns, which personally I've never done. I've been wanting to try it out, but there was some kind of connectivity issue. Like I don't think you can do it with your free KW corporate account. I think you actually have to pay for your own Google business account. Social posts, that's how you just do the generic posting that you can schedule for, the week or the month. You have your postcards and your emails. We're going to do social ad. And that first step is just to give it a name. So for this specific one, I did it off this listing. So I'll put in just the listing name. And then if you plan on maybe running multiple ads, sometimes I'll do like ad one, so they can kind of number them that way. And then what is the goal of the listing? So, again, depending what you want to do, are you just trying to get your name out there and advertise it? Maybe you're trying to get leads and attract some buyers. It all depends on what your goal is. So for this one, let's say I want to use the lead form and I want to attract some buyers for this specific listing.
Those are really just to sort your
Yeah.
ads, right? Like, I think it gives you a couple of different choices when you pick one of those. I think it kind of leads, like,
Yeah,
isn't there a place where it gives you some recommended text and stuff and
Yeah.
recommended? Yeah.
And if you do
Okay.
like advertise multiple listings, I think it's set up a little different where it lets you choose from different listings. So I
Okay.
haven't tried that one. I've heard that it creates kind of like split ads or something. I've never ran it and actually seen how it works. And then at the bottom here, you just select which channels you want to run it on. Like I said, I don't use Twitter, but we'll do Facebook and Instagram. And I'll show you once we get there how you can kind of allocate your money on how much you want it to spend and which platform. Then we have Gary Keller here walking us through. So when you create a thumb-stopping ad, you share your value with the world. Let's do this. So when you click through there, it's going to kind of give you a little walkthrough of the whole platform or this whole page. But we'll get rid of Gary and I'll show you how to do it.
You're getting the Kevin guided tour right now.
All right, so
Far superior.
the left side of this page is where you're going to actually create the ad, and then the right side gives you the little preview of how it's going to look. So first step is name and goal. We already set that up, so we're done with that one. Our option is listings. So I did it as I created a design with the listing photos I want to use. But it makes it easy. Like, let's say you didn't want to go and create your own design. You could go in here and add a listing. And then if we look it up at the top, let's see, we'll go to all statuses. So these are only my listings. If you have, permission from another agent, you could change this to all listings and go find a different one. Make sure you get permission first. And then you can go in here and just select the listing, and it's going to pull in this information. Which hopefully I can get rid of this because I might not want to use it. But it pulls it all in, which is pretty cool. So it's going to, automatically pull in like the listing description. So you might want to change that up a bit. But then for the picture, if you scroll down here, let's see. It's going to pull in all of the listing photos. So it's just an easy way to quickly be able to select one of your photos. And then you can go in there and crop it and change the size. Like I said, I always like using square. So, might want to make it something like that. I did notice that I think it's FMLS does it this way. Where it has like this verbiage at the bottom that or maybe it's Georgia MLS, I'm not sure. Let's see. Pull this back up. Yeah, so this was Georgia MLS. So Georgia MLS photos have this default text they put at the bottom. So that's another reason I like to add in my own photos. And it looks like when you crop it, it gets kind of blurry, but maybe that's just the preview. Let's say, I don't know if you can get rid of it. Change listing. I guess I can't deselect this, but I can just kind of clear everything out, I think. So for the add text, I'm just going to get rid of this. Let's just pretend we're starting from scratch and don't have this photo here. Maybe I can get rid of it this way.
Try adding your other picture and then maybe you'll get an option to delete that one.
Let's see. All right, so add media, and you can also do videos, which we don't do many videos. I've been trying to get Patty to get on the videos, but because videos obviously get a lot of engagement. Facebook loves videos, so.
The animation that you can do on there, I tested it once. It's really cool, but you can only do it to like attract a certain area, like East Cop, for example. You can't do it like everywhere.
The animation?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's animation you can do on there.
Yeah, the little command, the design video.
Yeah, like you put in like 3 different criteria. It's like, dog walking, theaters, restaurants, and then it'll just, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are
It
cool.
is cool.
Like this.
It's limited, but it's cool.
Yeah. All right, so let's just, pretend that I didn't select a listing here. So it's just going to show blank just like it is now. When you go down here to images, when it pops up, it's probably going to say like type in your listing, but you can also go at the top here and add images or videos manually. So I'm going to go to add images, and then you have 2 options here. You can choose from designs or you can upload it. So like I was saying earlier, if you just created a design and you try to browse and pull it in, sometimes it won't work. So I always just download it. So to upload it manually, you just go to upload images, and you can either drag or you can click on it and pull it up. Since I have mine right here, I'll just drag it in here. And then we're going to go down here to preview and crop. But one thing to note on this page is there's also this best practice for images. So it kind of tells you, what they recommend for resolution and size. And then this one right here, Facebook Ads Text Overlay Checker. So Facebook has some rules on advertisements on like how much text can be in the picture. So this is a way, I think if you, so we can try it and see if it works. I think last time I clicked it, it didn't want to work for me. Yeah, not available. So I guess they need to fix that. But if you go to like, Google and just look up what percentage of Facebook ad can be text, there's like a specific percentage. So you can't just have an ad where it's like nonstop text, because I guess Facebook just knows that people want to see pretty pictures and not boring text. So keep
It's
it
really very little text.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the exact percentage is, but
yeah. So like this image here is like, perfect. It's, not too wordy. It's just kind of a quick call to action. So we have that. We're going to go to preview and crop image. It always defaults to the wide, so I'm just going to change it to square. And it's going to highlight the whole thing, and then I'm going to save it. And we're going to see it pop up there on the right. And it looks like I actually used one of those images that has the text there, but we'll survive. All right, and then on that note, let's say I wanted to add in more images. I could go to add more, and I'll kind of show you how the carousel looks. Like, let's say I just wanted to use, one of these pictures here. I can pull that in, and it's going to turn it into a carousel ad. So now when people are scrolling through, not only will they see this first image, but they'll be able to swipe through and see different pictures. I think you can have up to 5 of them on here, if I remember right. That's another good option. And I'm pretty sure the way it works is based on I think Facebook kind of prioritizes different images, and whichever one gets the best engagement, that's the one they're going to start with. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So that's a good way to, kind of test different images. Then you'll be able to figure out which one catches people's eyes the most. I've definitely found that images with like bright green, like if there's a house you're listing with like beautiful grass out front, people love that nature look. It definitely stops the scroll. So up top above the ad media is your ad text, and this is where you're going to describe basically what the purpose of your ad is. Are they going to click on it and get to learn more information about your listing? Are they going to, click on it and have to register for your event? So your ad copy is what goes up top on the image. Your headline is going to be this big bold text right there. So I find that the headline is good for your actual call to action, like click this picture to learn more about this house. And then your description is just underneath that. So there's a lot of different, strategies for different ad text. One thing that I've heard and I've kind of tested out, and it seems to be true, is people love emojis. You don't have to get carried away with it, but sprinkling in a few emojis by clicking on this little bottom right smiley face, you can add in those emojis into your text. I guess that kind of stands out to people as they're scrolling through, and they've kind of tested both ways and find that ads with emojis get slightly more engagement. So something to keep in mind.
And you also want some white space. So don't type in like a paragraph of description. You want to type a little bit and then like a double return. So you have a little bit of white space, then a couple of emojis and something else, like a bullet list maybe, I think performs pretty well. But you don't want like a block of text, because people scrolling are like, read, rude.
And I think also,
Scrolling, not reading.
I think if it's too long, it might only show a few lines and then it'll say like see more. So they actually have to click
Mhm.
read it all. So I guess it's best to kind of fit it all into the top there. So one kind of generic one that I've run on the exact text that I like using, this kind of little like siren or maybe the blowhorn, and say like, listing alert. Or sometimes I'll do deal alert. I find that gets some good engagement. That side too. And then stunning townhome for sale in Canton.
So as Kevin's typing this up, one thing I'll say, if you run this ad and you say this townhouse is for sale in Canton, you're going to get less people to click, but those people who click are going to be more of what you want.
Right.
So if you are just a solo agent and you don't want to follow up with 50 leads that are all over town, you might want to put that the townhome is in Canton.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the time to follow up with 50 leads and don't mind driving around a little bit, you might not want to say that it's in Canton, because you might get a Lawrenceville buyer to click on it and be like, "Ooh, I wish I could have this. Oh, it's in Canton." But now you got them and you can call them and say, "Oh, I can send you some Lawrenceville townhouses," right?
Yeah.
So the more info you put into the ad, the more you're going to narrow the people who click. The more open you leave it, you might get more leads, but they might be all more random, right?
Exactly. Yeah, good point.
Ooh, I like those eyeballs. Those are good.
Yeah, I like the eyeballs.
Mhm.
I don't like getting too carried away, but say I also like the little house one here.
House one's good. And I went to a class that Gary Vaynerchuk was at,
Uh-huh.
and they said that cherries is the most clickable
someone.
emoji.
Interesting.
It might have been me.
Yeah, that's probably you. What do you say, like a cherry on top or something? Or do you just put it in there just because?
I just throw some cherries in there for, yeah.
Maybe sirens, I should do cherries.
The sirens are eye-catching. I like them.
Yeah. All right, headline at the bottom. So I might say, maybe I have a virtual tour on it. I know at least in the past year with COVID, from what I've heard, is the words like virtual and social distance, contactless, like those kind of keywords are getting more clicks. So I've had some good results. Assuming you have a virtual tour, don't tell them you have a virtual tour if you don't. They might not be happy. But if you do, you could say, click to see. Oh. Something like that. And you can add an emoji there. There's not the button, but you could always just like copy it over. And then description at the bottom. I will say from what I've seen, when my ad pops up on my phone, the description doesn't even show up at the bottom. It just kind of says lead form on Facebook. Maybe it's different on desktop. I'm not quite sure. But what I like to do here sometimes is kind of like a brief idea of what the home's about. And like Carrie said, the more info you give them, you're narrowing the pool down of who's going to actually fill out the form. But sometimes I'll like to say like the square footage or the acre size. Like if it's a big lot, you could say like huge wooded lot. So I don't know what most people use for the description, but sometimes I'll give them like little snippets. That way, if it does intrigue them, they're like, man, I need to see this address. I better fill out the form because it sounds like it's a house that fits my needs.
I like that vertical line. I don't use that. That's a good one.
I like vertical lines.
Yeah.
All right. So once you have all your text set up, you can, check it again, make sure it all looks good. And then you do save add text. And then you're going to go down here to channel options and configure that. So we're just going to click there. You're going to see which account you have connected. And then you should have within here, like I have a few different pages. So if you have multiple pages, you'll be able to select between them. So for this one, I'm going to do, our team account. The other one is just kind of an agent account that I don't monitor very much. But you could run some like recruiting ads, I guess.
Totally.
So anyway, you select your page and then you have your ad position option on Instagram. So for those of you who are better at Instagram than I am, you might know which the better spot is. But it's my assumption that ad is on the main page as you're scrolling through, whereas the story is one of those like paid story ads. So I'm not sure exactly how those work, if they just get sprinkled in every few stories. Because I feel like when I'm clicking through stories, occasionally a random one pops up. So that said, if you're doing an Instagram story, you might want to go back and do that vertical design option. I think stories are better vertical. But I like doing the first spot. And then you have destination here. So this is where you can either use the lead gen form to capture information, or you can send them right to the landing page. Like we said, depending on what your goal is, are you just trying to do brand awareness? If you are, then this is probably the better option for you because it's going to go to more people, but you're not going to capture the info unless they actually go to your website and manually fill it out. Whereas when you use the Facebook lead gen form, as soon as they click on this picture, it's going to pull up a little contact form with like name, email, phone number. And like Carrie said earlier, with the Facebook form, it automatically pulls in basically the information they've used to sign up for Facebook. So they don't have to think about like manually typing their info in. It just pulls it up and they click next, and then it brings them to whatever website you're sending them to. You will get the occasional people that think twice and then they'll change their email to like, good luck, nice try at Gmail.
Don't steal my data at gmail.com. I got that one the other day.
Yeah, you'll get some good ones. So I'm going to use the lead gen form for this one. But just know that the other option is pretty much the same setup, to where you have a call to action button and you have a URL. There's just going to be no lead gen form. So the call to action label, when you run these directly through Facebook, you'll have some more options to choose from. Hopefully Command will give us a few more. But you'll see there's learn more, there's sign up, and there's apply now. So in my opinion, if I see something that says sign up or apply now, unless it's something I really want to sign up for, I'm probably going to ignore it. So I find that learn more is the best option because it's like, oh, cool. Your follow-up URL, there's a whole bunch of options here. I mean, you can send them anywhere you want. For an ad like this, so obviously I want them to be able to get information about the house that I'm telling them they're going to get information about. So what I like to do is I go to my website. And then I'm actually going to go and find the listing on my website and send them there. That way, not only are they getting the information they were promised, but they are going to my branded website. So maybe they're going to create an account there and start saving homes, and I can see what else are they interested in. Let's see if I can find it.
Please don't point your leads to Zillow.
Yeah, do not do that. All right, let's see here. I have to set it for pending. This one is not available. So we have this here. I'm just going to click on the listing. And then you'll see, like, I advertise the virtual tour, which this isn't really a virtual tour. It's just one of those kind of picture slideshows with some music. But the button's right there. So, you know, they click on virtual tour, like see the virtual tour. They're going to pull up this site and be like, oh, there's the virtual tour he's talking about. And there's going to be all the information about the listing. And then, you know, you already have their contact info at this point, but they could go in here and like ask you a question. And assuming they use the same email address as they signed up on Facebook with, if they type a message, it's going to pop up in their contact. So anyway, I pull up the listing here. I'm just going to copy this URL at the top. And then I'm going to go back into campaigns and paste it right here. You'll see when I click it, it pops up with this beginning HTTPS. So you are going to have to delete that if you're pasting it because you don't want to have it on there twice. It's not going to be a good address. And it should tell you if you have like HTTPS twice, it'll say like not a valid page. You'll see the little check mark kind of confirms that it's a good one. And then the other option is we have classes on going into the consumer tab and creating a landing page. So if you do have a landing page created, you can select this button and just go check it. You'll see all the different pages you've created. And then they also have pages from your website, I believe. So that's another way to do it. Underneath that, you have ad targeting. So it's going to default. So like for this one, because I had selected this listing, it's going to automatically pull up that city and do a 20-mile radius. But if you select use custom settings at the top here, it's going to pull up some different options for you. So the two main options here, you can either target your database or you can target an area. So for this purpose, I'm going to want to target an area. I'm going to search, you know, around my listings. I want to pull in leads from that area. But like we said earlier, with the different types of ads you can run, like let's say I've run this ad or a few ads and I have some leads that have signed up. What I could do is go to target my database. And like if I had, you know, say, tagged a bunch of those people with like a tag that says Canton leads or something like that, I could go in here and add the tag and go find that. So that's a good way to kind of retarget people. You know, they click on your ad once, you already have their information. So then you can run one that isn't a lead form ad and just retarget them. That way they constantly are seeing your ads. The brand awareness approach. I know Carrie does this because I clicked on one of her ads and now I see all of her ads. So it's effective.
Sorry, not sorry.
The other option is the custom audience. Is where you choose the area and the criteria. So location, obviously the United States. I'm going to go Canton, Georgia. Now, when you run them directly in Facebook, you might have some different options. I haven't run it through Facebook in a while. Like I said earlier, Command has just made it very simple. You can't really go draw an area on a map, but you can select a city and then select a radius. And I think the least you can do is 15. Which I'm pretty sure that is a fair housing rule with Facebook, because technically when you're running a housing ad, you have to check it as like a special ad category. And I don't think you're able to, target one neighborhood like you used to. Now it's like, all right, 15 mile, give everyone a fair chance. So that's the least you can do is 15-mile radius. Which that said, it's a pretty big area, so you might get people that are nowhere near Canton who just have to get it. But at least it sets that starting point. And then you have this optional category here where you can narrow down who's seeing the ad based on their interests on Facebook. So some of the common ones for like an ad like this, we don't want to send them to Zillow. But if they're using Zillow to search for homes, you can look for Zillow and target there. Or if you're doing a recruiting ad, you could target the premier agents who are throwing money away on Zillow leads. So you have Zillow, you have another good one is a mortgage calculator. So it's not the way it pulls this information is obviously Facebook is a huge company that, partners with a lot of other companies. So they're pulling data from all over the place. When you click on mortgage calculator, it doesn't mean that someone on Facebook has liked mortgage calculators because no one's done that. It means that maybe they've gone to a different website and used a mortgage calculator. Facebook knows that because they track you everywhere. And so it's kind of a way, it's like one of those things you search for one thing, then you hop on Facebook, you're like, how did they see this ad? I was looking at this product and now they're advertising this similar product. So that's a way to kind of narrow it down from like just going out to anyone, like random 16-year-olds and people like that, to actually targeting people that might be more willing or more interested in purchasing a home. Makes sense. So you save that. And then the last option here is the duration and the budget. So you're going to schedule it for how long you want and when you want it to run. So it defaults to 10 days. And you can't start it the same day that you're creating the ad. So keep that in mind. If you want it to run like when a new listing goes live, you might need to schedule it, especially in this market, houses are gone within a day. But you can schedule it for when you want and how long you want. So maybe this one, I want to start tomorrow. I want it to run, I anticipate this one's going to be gone quick. Maybe I want to run it for like 5 days instead. So just through the weekend. And then you have your total campaign budget. So this amount here, your $30 budget, is how much it's going to spend over the span of those 5 days. And then it's going to break it down into daily per channel. So 30 per day, 5 days on 2 channels. So let's say I want to run $30 ad. And something I always say is start with low budget. Don't go and throw hundreds of dollars at your first ad you ever run, expecting to get a bunch of leads that are going to close. Start small, see which ads perform best, and then go from there. Lead with revenue. $30. And then you have 2 options at the bottom here. So you can just distribute it evenly to where it's going $3 on Facebook, $3 on Instagram. Or you can go with the placement option right here to where you can choose, all right, maybe on, what's letting me choose here? What am I missing? Usually it lets you adjust them. I don't know why it's not. something I need to report. But this page or this tab here should let you adjust it to where you might, maybe you get more leads on Facebook, but you still want to run it on Instagram. You could adjust it to like $5 a day on Facebook and only $1 going to Instagram. Make sense? Choose where you want to spend your money. And then you just click on save at the bottom. Always a good idea to go back through and just double check your text and your images, make sure everything is looking the way you want it to look. And then you're just going to go up to the top and publish the campaign, which I'm not going to publish this one. The other option is you can save it as a draft. So if you save it as the draft, you're going to see it on your paid ads page right here to where you can go and, pull it up later and publish it or make any changes. We'll see here we have a draft, and then you can just go to the right side here where the 3 dots are, and you can go in and edit it, or you can duplicate it. So you could save it as a draft and duplicate it, and then maybe target different criteria when you're targeting those people and see which of those 2 performs best. It's a good way to kind of test out different options. And that is pretty much it. Last thing I'll show is, let's say we have leads here. It's like we have some leads we want to check out. You can click here on view leads, or you can actually click on the ad itself where it says how many leads you get. But if you click on that, it's going to bring you into your contacts and pull up this paid advertised source. Hopefully. I didn't pull that up for me. It's still there. So if it doesn't bring you right there, the other way to do it in your contacts is go to your smart views, which is right here in the middle at the top, and then scroll all the way down to Kelly campaigns. And that's going to pull up your, well, should pull up your Facebook campaigns, but doesn't seem to be working right now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, I know Kevin has a smart view called New Leads First, so you could always do it that way too.
Yeah. So the way to do that is you pull up all your contacts. And then you're going to go to your filters, which is right next to it. Because when a new lead comes in, Command is going to automatically put this little L, like you can see here next to these people, as a lead. So when you're filtering, you can go to leads only. So it's going to get rid of anyone that's not marked as a lead. You can apply it. And then what I do is I go and add this column here for when that lead was created, and I sort it. I guess it's already created that way. And then you can just do save smart view. You have to go here, create smart view. So like Carrie was saying, I have one for smart view leads. That way, anytime I pull up that lead category, it's going to show me at the top of the list who was the most recently inputted in here. Make sense? Any questions?
Kevin, are you going to, is this going to be like another touch base on Thursday? Maybe? About this?
This Thursday, we do not have happy hour. It's going to be next Thursday.
Okay.
But yeah.
I would just love to see it again.
Yeah. I always enjoy masterminding Facebook ads. So.
Okay. Perfect.
Please join me.
Okay. Thanks.
What do you think, Garcia? You ready to run them through Command now?
the only thing that discourages me running it through command is the fact that when I take an image that I'm already using for Facebook and it says it's too big, and then I want to like downsize it, and then that's where I get like you have to go through the designs and templates and all this stuff and try to downsize it. I don't like the look of it exactly. So I'm just like, it's like that's pretty much how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just use the native paint program on my computer to downsize images.
Yeah, because it says it's like 600 megabytes or something like that. And I'm just like, can you just take it? Just take it.
Come on now, just figure it out.
Right. Yeah. I'm just like, it allows me to do it on Facebook ads and there's no issues. But that's the only part really that's discouraging. Other than that, I can just walk through it, and I've already paid for a social media ad course too. I can just take that information, the text and call to action and everything, and just put it in there because it's basically the same stuff. You're just doing a little bit less work.
Yeah.
Since we're not marketing experts, I'm certainly not a marketing expert.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's maybe we can, do a one-on-one with that one time.
I mean, my favorite part about it is the leads are going directly into your contacts. So it's all linked together and it's all tracked in,
Yeah.
at the end of the year, you look
Yeah.
at your, like goals and you're like, all right, how many leads did I get? Where did they come from? It kind of keeps it all in one place.
So aside from the image issue, it's very convenient because like you said, I don't have to take things from Facebook Suite and put it in anymore. It's automatically in there. And then let's see, get rid of that. It's more cost effective too, since there's like an agreement with Keller Williams. So that's, I'm very fiscally like conservative, so I'm just like, hey, if I can reduce my dollars and yet go further, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But those are two awesome things, and
I think
I'm not having it. Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to take one of the ads that you've run and try it in command, like exactly kind of the same way you've set it up in Facebook, and see the comparison between the two. Like I've heard much better in command, but I've never actually tried like a direct split test. I'd be curious of the results of that.
Dude, the cost per lead when I did it through Facebook recently, because I turned it off. I wasn't getting much, especially with this crazy market going on right now. There's like everybody's like doing advertisements, so everybody's competing, and there's like you know the story. So it's like $25 per lead, and I got 4 leads, and I was like, that's too expensive.
Yeah.
I like, let's keep it in the single digits or less.
Yeah.
Not $25-$30 per lead. That's a lot.
It is.
So only 4 leads, but I was like, you know what? At least I got something, and I'm gonna give this a shot. But if it's we'll talk later.
Alrighty, guys.
Sounds like a happy hour in the making.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll definitely reach out with questions. because
Awesome.
I want to give it a try. So
All right.
Go get some leads.
Happy ad running.
Yeah.
thanks.
This will be on the YouTube channel soon, in case you want to go rewatch it.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, I see the recording right there. Yep.
You guys are going to be internet famous.
Insta famous. Bye, guys.
Bye.